Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. Going to read through the full article here. Essentially, it's in regards to this guy that you see on the screen. His name is Sir Keir Starmer. He's the United Kingdom's England's Labour Party leader, and he's been embroiled into a discussion, a debate in regards to the definition of what a woman is. And he has quite firmly stated his opinion, and obviously he's right. He's a senior politician. We all know senior politicians are always right. His opinion is that trans women are women. So he's stated that in an overly toxic, toxic masculinity way. He's mansplained that trans women are women. So we're going to have a look at this subject. See if it's of interest to you or to me. Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour Party leader, declared on Friday that he is a staunch believer that trans women are women. Sir Keir, who has headed Britain's Socialist Labour Party since 2020, clarified Labour's position on transgender policy after, okay, hopefully you'll understand this, after a lady called Annalise Dodds, who is the Labour's chair and shadow secretary of state for women and equalities, was unable to give a substantial definition on what a woman actually is. Okay, so hopefully that's made sense. So there's this woman, Annalise Dodds. She's a politician within the Labour Party and Secretary of State for Women is part of her title. I didn't know that was a thing, but it is apparently, a Secretary of State for Women and Equalities. So here's this person in that position, and on a national radio show during an interview, she was asked, "Hey Annalise, could you answer this really complicated question? Could you tell me your definition of what a woman is?" Okay, so she was asked to provide the definition of a woman, and we're going to read through her response. Bear in mind that she's the senior official within the Labour Party. Her position is literally Secretary of State for Women and Equalities. So you would have thought that she would know what a woman is. You would have thought that it would be fairly easy for her to provide a definition, an accurate definition of what a woman is. Now, I'm not a senior politician, nor am I a doctor, nor am I a lawyer, but I could tell you what a woman is. In fact, I will. Here's what a woman is. A woman is a human being with certain biological aspects that determines her to be female, and that's what a woman is. You know, I suppose you could say of a certain age, because prior to a certain age, the human would be considered a girl. So you could just stipulate after the age of whatever, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, you choose your number, whatever it happens to be, to determine what a woman is. But that's what it is. A woman is a female human being of a certain age, I'll say 16 age plus, that has biological traits which include things such as cervixes, female hormones, vaginas, things like that. Boobs, maybe, some of them do, some of them don't. But, those kinds of things could be flippantly summarized as having a vagina, which isn't entirely correct, because nowadays, as we all know, certain men can suffer from a mental illness and then decide to hack off their penis and rip out their testicles, drill a tunnel through the remaining area, and then declare that to be a vagina. So we know that's a thing. And it's a thing that is supported not only by doctors, but also by governments. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, I've gone on a bit of a ramble. So here's what this woman, Annalise Dodds, said when she was asked what a woman is. Okay, so hopefully you can understand what I say. Well, I have to say that there are different definitions legally around what a woman actually is. I mean, you look at the definition within the Equality Act, And I think it just says someone who is adult and female, but doesn't say how you define either of those things. I mean, obviously, that's when you've got the biological definition, the legal definition, all kinds of things. So that's her answer when she was asked what a woman is. And perhaps the key point is, part of the key point is that she's saying that if you look it up in a dictionary, it's going to say adult and female. And there would be your answer. But that answer isn't good enough for Annalise. That's too simple of an answer. She needs something which is convoluted. That's what she needs. She has a strong desire to reject the accepted. She needs to embrace the unusual. So, she's saying that the dictionary definition doesn't define what an adult is and doesn't define what a female is. I mean, for fuck's sake, why are these people like this? What is wrong with them? They really are causing problems for the sake of causing problems. They are not helping. They are not allowing progress to be made. Imagine if these guys worked alongside you in your job. I don't know what your job is, right? Maybe you don't have a job. But if you did have a job, imagine these guys sat on the desk next to you or whatever, in the factory next to you, and they just did this kind of thing all day long. You ask them a simple question. Hey, Jane, can you pass me that wrench, please? Well, what's a wrench? Who knows what a wrench is? A wrench could be described in multiple different ways. Fuck off. Fuck off, Jane. Just pass me the fucking wrench and fuck off. So anyway, that's what Annalise Dodds, the Secretary of State for Women and Equalities, had to say, which in summary was a whole load of fucking shit. So because of that, this guy here, the UK's Labour Party's leader, Keir Starmer, he was dragged into the discussion. Essentially, the media are saying, hey, buddy, your colleagues are fucking morons. They can't speak English. They can't express a rational thought. Your Secretary of State for Women doesn't even know what a fucking woman is. So you're going to have to answer some questions now, buddy. And so that's what he did. So Keir, a lawyer turned politician, has now given a more concise and conclusively woke definition than Annalise Dodds, asserting that a woman is a female adult, and in addition to that, trans women are women. And that is not just my view, that is actually the law. It has been the law through the combined effects of the 2004 Gender Reaction Act and the 2010 Equality Act. So that's my view. It also happens to be the law in the United Kingdom. So that's his answer. When he's asked to provide a definition of what a woman is, he gets the first part right. He said a woman is a female adult. Well done, sir. You have that correct. Well done. I'll give you a star. I'll give you a gold star for getting that incredibly simple question right. However, he didn't stop there. He declared more. He declared trans women are women. Now, as you can see, he didn't provide any reasoning as to why trans women are women. No reasoning whatsoever. He doesn't refer to the fact that a woman is a female, yet a trans woman who is not female is somehow a woman. So non-females can also be women. That makes no sense. So a woman is one thing, but they're also another. Hang on. That doesn't make too much sense. It's a rejection of clarity. It's a rejection of facts. It's a rejection of, I don't know what. And then he refers to the law in what I would consider to be, a very firm way, is my interpretation. He's directly referring to the law. Now, is the law relevant to the subject of what is a woman? Yes, it is. It's entirely relevant. It is entirely relevant. So perhaps I'm wrong for feeling ill of him for doing that. But at the same time, it seems like a little bit of a deflection. Am I wrong there? I could be wrong. I feel like I might well be wrong. But it just feels like he seems to be saying, hey, buddy, a trans woman is a woman, and if you disagree, then you're breaking the law, okay? And if you break the law, you're going to get punished. That's the feeling that I get. And maybe that's, inappropriate of me to get that feeling, but that's my interpretation. So this guy, the leader of the Labour Party, correctly states that a woman is a female adult, and then goes on to assert something which seems to be contrary to that. He offers no further explanation to something which needs to be explained. What is the phrase? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Something like that. Well, that's an extraordinary claim, is it not? Trans women are women. Well, hang on. How are they women? They're not female. You've just stated the definition of a woman is a female adult. Trans women are not female. So how are they a woman? Do you know what I mean? You do know what I mean. Anyway, so the article goes on. The Labour leader went on to suggest that he believes the Gender Recognition Act should be reformed to allow individuals to self-declare their gender identity rather than be officially diagnosed by medical staff. So the leader of the Labour Party in the United Kingdom wants to make it legal for any person to declare their own gender. Hey guys, I'm a woman. I feel like being a woman from now on. Well, for a little while anyway. I'll give it a go for a little bit. That's my self-declaration. And lo and behold, bing bang boom, you're a woman. That's what he wants. He wants to allow people to live in a fantasy. Am I allowed to say that? I think I ought to be allowed to say that. If a man believes himself to be a woman and has the ability to legally self-declare themselves as such, isn't that allowing them to live in a fantasy? Are my words incorrect? Are my words out of order? If so, tell me how. I don't feel that they are. I'm aware that some people will object to the words that I've used, the thought that I'm espousing. I'm aware people will object to it. I'm aware people will be offended by it. I'm aware people will claim offense even if they're not offended. But that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily wrong in what I'm saying. If the law is such that it's going to allow anyone to self-declare their gender identity, which is going to allow them to state something other than what is factually correct, then is that not enabling them to live in a fantasy? They are fantasizing that they are something that they are not. A man is not a woman just because they fantasize that they're a woman. That fantasy is a fantasy, and if these guys were to allow individuals to legally self-identify and self-determine their gender, it would be enabling their fantasies. Is that the right thing to do? No, it doesn't seem like the right thing to do in my mind. If you're going to allow transgender people to make up their own rules in regards to gender, what else are we going to allow? Can we allow a homeless person to fantasize that they actually own a mansion and take possession of that mansion? Are we going to allow that? Well, of course not. That would be absurd. Well, so is the notion of allowing people to legally self-declare their gender. Especially as the article goes on to talk about a couple of examples of where that is a particular issue. When people are jailed, do you want men, biological men, males, people with penises, testicles, certain biology, which determine themselves to be males, larger physique, frame, skeletal structure, do you want them to be jailed with women, biological women? Do you want that? I'll tell you what will and does and has happened when you do allow that to happen. Women get raped. That's what happens. You enable the men living in their fantasy that they're a woman, if you allow them to go to women's jails, they're going to rape. Not all of them, sure, not all of them, but it's going to happen more than it should. Is that fair to the female prisoners? No, of course it isn't. That would be like if it was wartime and you allowed rapes to happen, or you didn't adequately secure against the potential for rapes to occur, that would be a war crime. But that's what these guys are pushing for. That's what they're pushing for. Do you want biological males to go into your public toilets with your girls, with girls, with children? Is that what you want? Do you want biological males to self-declare that they're a woman, they put on a dress, they put on a wig, and then now they're allowed into the girls' changing rooms? Is that what you want? Because that's what you're going to get. That's what you have in some places of the world. So, I don't know. I mean, I've gone on a bit of a ramble there, but the point that I'm trying to make is that allowing this self-declaration of gender is going to allow for the invading of safe spaces for women. And there are various safe spaces for women: public toilets, public changing rooms, this community, that community. One example is dating sites. There's a dating site, I've seen this pop up on the internet quite a bit. There's a dating site specifically for lesbians, and it's dominated. If you're a lesbian and you're scrolling through, much like you would on Tinder or whatever, I've never used those kind of apps. But if you're scrolling through trying to find a hot chick to go out on a date with, you're just going to see bloke in a dress, bloke in a dress, bloke in a dress, bloke in a dress. It's invading on women's safe spaces or their own communities, And at this point, I'm just interjecting myself. Men are also allowed to have their own communities. They should not be restricted from having their own communities of various kinds. Trans people too ought to have their communities, which are confined to their gender or lack thereof. Anyway, I've gone on for too long. It's been a bit of a ramble. I think I've made a couple of good points, but not much more than a couple. So I'll end things here. Thanks for listening.